So for now, let's just think about what we might like to do. Decisions. You know, and because I do find it difficult sometimes, I'm just going to start. I'm going to take a length, not too long, of the stranded cotton. And then, now you can use one or two, you know, strands that you like. I'm going to use two and pull two out like that. Okay, I'm going to use my mum's handy knot again. My mum is 90, by the way, and still sewing and creating. She's wonderful. Alright, so we'll just start. And I think I shall start. Ooh, I don't know. I'm going to start here. I've got this dark one, and I'm not sure. Oops, let me just get rid of those scissors for now, because I keep bumping them. I'm really not sure what I want to do. I'm just going to show you a few stitches that you can do. Now, just using the simple running stitch, we could do this, you know. And we've already made a nice mark. So, don't pull it too tight or it'll pucker. But, you know, if it does pucker like that, pull it back. Done. Yeah, so, you know, that is a mark in itself. So, we can then maybe do a parallel line where we come back here. Rather than make it difficult for myself, I quite like doing this, where I'll turn the fabric the way that I want it to be, that is easiest for me, especially when I'm trying to film, which is interesting. But, you know, I'm not too worried about nice straight stitches. I'm not worried that they're all the same size. I'm not really worried about any of that. I might just do a partial line next. Start down here. Yeah, but you get the gist. Now, can you see that that was a bit of a loop there? What we've got here is we've got to try and keep those two strands together so that one isn't shorter or longer than the other. This one, I think I might even continue up and drag that colour over into here. But it probably doesn't look right with just the one, so I'm going to drag a little bit back again. And here I go, turning again. That's because I'm a right-hander and it's easier for me to go like that. And some people like to use a hoop. I don't for this kind of thing, because I like to be able to pick it up and get underneath it. But can you see what we've done there? That's quite a nice mark to start with, you know. And the reason I used the beige on that section was that it showed up, basically. You know, if I'd have used the brown, I might not have seen it. And that's kind of all right too. Maybe I don't want to see it, but I do want to see it. So that's what I've done. You know, whilst I've got that on, I think I'll just do a bit more. Don't have to. I might decide this time I want to go down into the other one, so I might go there. What we're doing at the moment is, this is just a running stitch. This is the stitch that you learn as a child at school. It's really the first stitch. Okay. And I'll just continue down, I think, until I've nearly had enough of that. Yeah. And what happens if I go up here? Is it going to show? Or maybe this is an instance where I want to start putting something in that little spot. It could be stitches. It could be something. Let's have a look at our little snippet of stuff here and see if we liked that. Who knows? How would that be there? or, you know, a little bit of lace might be nice. So I think whilst I've got the cream on, I'd probably do a few little stitches, you know, wherever, just to try and anchor it down there. I'm holding in those little petals there, just to anchor it in a few different spaces, if you see what I mean. Underneath and up again, and again, just anchoring. I'm going to put that little stem in as well, so I don't want that floating around. So on the other side of that, and maybe another over here somewhere to keep that section down. There we go. So I've put something in that empty spot, which I knew I would. It's either stitches or lace or something, but you know, that's why I had a little look-see beforehand to see what I might like to use. You know, I really do like that there. I know I just shoved it there, but I do like it. So I am going to make sure I do put that there for a moment. Sorry, I got the pin in my mouth. Never do that, people. There we go. I'm going to just do that, just to hold that there because I like it. And I like that it's echoed down here. And, all right, what do we try now? Well, we could still use a bit of cream. And let's try a different stitch this time. Let's try using still just straight stitch. I'm going to use the 2 again. 2 sort of, you know, gives you a mark that shows up really well. I might have used 1 for the tacking, or, you know, something a little bit more delicate where I didn't want it to show up. But I'm using 2 because that's, you know, that's what I'm wanting. Mark making. This is what we're doing. So I'm going to use this one. Where to this time? Well, I'm wanting to show you a seed stitch, which is virtually the same thing. Or a cross. Yeah, we'll do a cross. Why not? So, all right. So we'll do them both here, and you can see what I mean. Right. What I'm doing is a little that way, and then that way. Well, that one probably wasn't started in the right spot, but you know, I don't care. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, little crosses, little imperfect crosses by the looks of it. I don't seem to be, must be because I'm doing it on the camera. I'm finding it a little bit hard, but I like that whatever the problem is, you know, you just go with it. I mean, I could undo it, but it might be leading me into something nice, you know. See, now that's kind of a plain fabric, this dark green. We put it in because we wanted that contrast in there, you know, the deeper colors. But, you know, why not do a few little crosses? You know, but that's just showing you that same stitch. It's just a simple in and out. And this time we've done little crosses, and they look quite pretty. You know, we could continue that up or down or whatever we really wanted. Now the other one, I'm leading over to this lace, you know, that's what I'm doing. Whilst I've got this cream on, I'm just going to do another little cross. You know, this is the benefit too, that I'm also holding down, you know, going over these edges. So that's holding them down. You know, this is perfect. Okay. And whilst I've got my cream on, which is why I'm heading this direction, I am thinking, okay, maybe not that. I'm just going to go back and do that because I don't like that one. And yes, I know I can undo it, but I simply don't want to. I like my mistakes. Embrace your mistakes, people. That's a wonderful thing. Okay, but now this time I'm coming up here because I want that there. I want that teardrop to come down in there, so I'm going to just go like that, and there, it is where I want it now. And I'll take that pin out because that was just to remind me that's where I wanted it to go. And I'm just going to do a few little stitches here and there like I do with the other piece of lace, just to hold it down. You see what I mean? Now I could do something fancy, but I'm just tacking it down, you know. And at the same time it's holding down other areas. It's holding down the green and it's holding down this caramel beigey colour here. So I'm going over there. Oops, no, you're supposed to go over there. There you go. And I'll go down this one here, and then I know it's already on. I'm not going to lose my way there because no, it was good. Now I know you're not going to have the same bits. You know, I doubt that I could find the same bits again perfectly, but you know, you will be surprised at the amount of different things that you can use. I'm happy with that. Now, have I got any more? Yes, I've got a little bit more. So I just wanted to show you one more stitch here, and it's just random, one little stitch, and you bring it up somewhere else, and this time you do in a different direction. And here I go again. This time I'm going to go up here, and this time, no, I don't think you're going to pick this up very well, so I'm going to change to a different color, and then we'll see if that works better on camera. It's easier, I find, when you've got ragged edges on your cotton to fold it over and get the loop through. That's what I do. Now, this one, even though you may not be able to see it at the moment, is a seed stitch. And we're going to do some of that next, but with a different colour so that you can actually see. No, I'll come back to that. All right. Oops, let's not forget that I want you. Somewhere over there. Right, so if we want to see it, let's go for the dark one. I'm just going to take some of that. I don't like to start and stop. I kind of like to just, like I said before, meander. I like to go from spot to spot with it and just let it flow. But for that reason, I sort of, yeah, I don't knot off these very often. I just go until I get to the end. Oh, no, this one's not going to work for me. Folding. Once again, you're checking out my beautiful nails. I know it. Get through. There we are. All right, and a knot. We've done the knot. Okay. Now we're going to have a look at this seed stitch. We're going to do it. Okay, I think we're going to do it here. We're going to do it in a gap. And then you're going to see it on several different ones here. So that first one you're not going to see because it's just going to hold down that corner. Yeah. Now you can see me. Oops, not between the two threads, separate. And keep turning the direction. Bring it up again, and this time I'm going to go in that direction. I think now you'll get a better idea. You can see what I'm doing. And I might bring some of that seeding down, and I might put it here where it's going to hold that edge for me as well, at the same time as being decorative. This is why I never went to all of that trouble of tacking down everything. I don't need to, because I'm going to be going over it like this. And in fact, your work here is like a sampler. You can practice all kinds of stitches on it, and you can go just keep going. It can be as thick as you like with stitches, or you might decide, no, I really don't want to do that, and you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to do, you know, you don't have to finish a pattern. You know, you know what I mean when you talk about UFOs, where people have unfinished objects which are bound in the craft world? You know, you don't want to finish it, so because it's just too hard. Well, these you don't have to. It's finished when you say. You know, there is no end except the end that you wish. So now you couldn't see that, trust me, but you can see what I'm doing here. And yeah, and you know, it filled a gap, it linked some colors together, and it looks pretty. I think I'm going to, you know, just because I've got it on my thread here, I'm going to do some little obscure crosses here, perhaps. Might not see them, but at least I'll have done something with that edge that I worry that I'm going to forget about if I don't. Whilst I'm here, I'll just make sure it's done. And you'll see my little crosses are just, you know, barely can be called a cross, but it's mark making. You know, we have two little stitches that dissect each other. Well, that's all I'm going to call a cross, you know. But you know what I mean, where it's looking really pretty. I'm really glad that I've chosen to do this with. Believe me, I had a lot of fabrics out and I was choosing all different color ranges, but I thought this one was would appeal to the most people. I hope I'm right. I hope you do like it. But you know, you will be making your own, and your own will be telling you what it wants, and you will do that. All right, I've nearly finished my thread here, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, that worked. Yeah, I like that. I might manage one more just to get it into that lighter blue. Oh no, and my thread has come undone. There's one too many. Never mind. Now, I don't know if you could hear that, but that's the wind outside blowing leaves on the roof. Right, I'm just going to call that my last stitch because I'm out of thread. Yeah, pull it through. And I'll continue on, and I'll, you know, these simple stitches, it's a very simple stitch, and I will be using it a lot to fill in areas. Now, so I'm loaded up with some aqua, a lighter shade this time. And this little stitch we're talking about, I hope you can see, is I'm holding this out the way. I'm going in underneath, see what I mean? And that gets pulled through. Now this is called a fly stitch or a feather stitch. You know, I like it. It looks to me like birds' feet. You know, the marks that they leave in the sand. It's sort of, you know, it's almost like a little bird has wandered across our work here. But the other thing it's really good for, and the reason I bother with it at all, because it is very similar to my messy crosses, is that it's really good for doing a little fern or a little leaf. Let me see here. Wait a minute. I'm just going to do a tiny one. Now I've grabbed myself a coffee, which I'm hoping is going to help with my ragged voice, and I've loaded up a darker colour, and it's really just because I wanted to show you this again, just in case you didn't pick it up before, and so that you can see see this lovely little stitch in action. I'm holding it out of the way so that when I pull, that's caught. And that's just, you know, it creates its own little bit of lace then for you. I just like to put a couple of them in here and there, you know, if it calls for it. If it doesn't, you could change it, you could do long and thin, whatever, but that just gives you an idea of what it looks like. There we are. Hopefully that showed up a bit better for you. I'm going to continue on now doing a little bit and see where we end up. But this is why, you know, this is called stitch therapy. It's because you just, you know, do what you want, and you know, you can pick it up, have a coffee, relax. There's no pressure, and except when your thread does that, but no stress, no real pressure to achieve anything. You know, I might decide I wish it was in a spiral, you know, and crossed over several of them. That's pretty cute, you know. Yeah, I do like that. Now you might be a little bit uncomfortable with this kind of thing, so you can use a fabric marker. We'll do that, I think, and that just show you how it dissolves over time, or you know, with a dash of water. Excuse me, I'm just reaching for it. And we've got one here, and that's kind of how I wanted it. I wanted it to be a spiral, so I'll draw it in. I'm not worrying about it being too perfect. It gives me an idea of what I'm following. And around that one, around. Oh. Yeah, it can come out here, something like that. I can change my mind. So I just thought, whilst I have this on, you can use a contrast, but you know, I have this, so it just reminded me I had the teal, and that's why that came in. So already that's disappearing. Doesn't really worry me, you just have to replace it. So what you would do to couch is just, I'm just trying to get this in a way that I can do it for you, is that first one's always a little tricky, but you know, you want to anchor that down with that first little stitch. Get around there, there you are. Yes, and then you just need to follow that line that you've drawn. Look, look at that, it came out, little devil. Okay, I'm not too worried, can come back to that. Following the line, I'd want to do that. There we go. And yeah, because it can't go through the needle, well, you could use a bigger needle, of course, but you know, you could do an arc, you could do a stripe, you could do it as a line in between two squares. Choice is yours. You can do a novelty stitch if you wanted to. I'm just doing a simple, you know, just simple. Now I wasn't terribly happy here. Didn't really like the blanket stitch, didn't really like that there came undone on me. So I'm going back, and what I'm going to do is just add a little embellishment, and that'll cover up that nasty. Now I was thinking about the button, but really, let's save it for somewhere where we're going to see it. I've got these butterflies though, and I think that could be just gorgeous, you know, because it's like, oh, he's left a swirling mark where he's been, and now he's going to head back up. So that's what it's going to be. I'm going to put him in, or her, by just sewing on this button, and that's as simple as, yeah, let's place it over there a little bit more. Oops, come on up through the holes. We need better glasses. So we'll turn off, oh, look at that. That's going to be lovely. Yep, we'll need to collect some of our buttons, but you know, we'll finish doing the stitching first with an idea of where we want to use some of our special things. Here's our other butterfly. Where's he going to go? You know, oh yes, now it looks like he's flying through the design. So this is, you know, if it's up like that, yeah, that would be very nice. You know, maybe we'll put him somewhere in the middle, take up some of that space. You know, but this area here is crying out for something in it. Sometimes we do stitches, sometimes we might do some little buttons or something. And that, yeah, it's just a lovely thing. Lovely to just meander through and decide what you want to do, where you want to do it. Right, I've turned it up the right way for now, just because I want to get my final plan in place. Well, sort of a plan. Now, you know, I put this lovely butterfly here. Hopefully you can see that. Let me just check the screen. Yes, okay. Right, so you can see that. Used a bit of lace. These lovely bits of lace. That one should have been over a little bit. I'm sort of losing it, but we'll just deal with it. Now, I found this one. I did have these, remember, but I just felt it was a little bit too much. Oh, I really don't know. Maybe I should try again. Who knows? I'll take a different little bit and see if I like it. If I did use some, it wouldn't be much. It's just a little bit too extreme. Where could we put it though? That would be nice. You know, we could use bits of that. All right, so you know, we just need to get our plan in place. I found this lovely little one here. You know, we've got butterflies, we need flowers. You know, and so many places it could go. You know, you might want to use it somewhere where you're trying to hide a little bit of something that you didn't like, or, you know, just space them out so that not everything is all together. You know, that doesn't look much good. You know, so oodles of places that could go. I am wanting to bring this in, like I said I would. So, you know, we will do something with that. That'll be, you know, putting it this way, this direction that it's going to be, allows me to see it as a whole and what I might like to do. Now, I've brought out some of these luscious buttons as well to have a look at. And, you know, we know we want to use some buttons. Who doesn't want buttons? You know, I think it's lost there. So, you know, I think it's nicer there. But I do have, look at these fabulous little tiny buttons. Aren't they pretty? Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about the op shop. All different, but, you know, it's just so special. So I have large and small. I have some wonderfully old ones. I will just probably just put a smattering here and there, you know. don't know what colours yet, you know, but something will appeal to me, you know. And then with more stitching and putting our final elements in place, we'll be finished. But like I said, use this as a sampler, experiment with all of your stitches. You might want to try some different ones. I like a detached chain stitch for filling up gaps and things like that, but you know, you've got a lot there to start with, and there's plenty on Google to look at if you want to branch out and use this as a sampler. And you know, you've got a wonderful little piece of art, and I'd like to see it up on a wall. I'd like to see it on a bag that you take out and have everybody, you know, complimenting you. Yeah, so I'm just going to stitch away, finish it off, add on a few more buttons, which you've already seen me do. I might use a bit of blanket stitch because we haven't done much of that. And yeah, let's finish this baby off. Might just add in a little bit more. Do we want more lace? You know, it's brightened up. It certainly has. It started off very normal, shall we say, and now it's gone quite loud. Oh, come on, it's pretty. I like it. All right, leave me with it. And so here we've reached the end. I hope you've enjoyed following along with my process. It's something I'd like everybody to try. Don't pressure yourself, just have some fun with it. So Art Fibre Stitch is my business. You can find all kinds of interesting kits there if you have a mind to. Please do subscribe if you're interested in my channel and would like to see more of what I'm getting up to. And the main thing is happy sewing. Thank you.